my friends. Thank you for joining me for part 3 of Junk Journal Madness. This is a collaboration which is hosted by our friend Susan at I Totally Love It. And this is part 3. I've been working on a journal, a princess journal. It says Cinderella, but it's all the princesses because I have a digital kit that I created of princesses. But I had this DVD holder, and so I thought I'd go ahead and turn it into a journal. And in case you missed the first 2, it's a little bit of a, what do we call this, accordion journal. So there's some journal pages here, and then on the other side there's some journal pages here, because the cover, there was the back, and then you had one that flipped over this way, and then you had one that flipped over this way. So to make the journal, I just flipped one this way, but then flipped one the other way to make that. So today what we're going to do is work on the cover. And we'll also probably attach some of these little embellishments. Like I said, I created a digital kit, princess themed, and these, I used Shrinky Dinks and printed these out on the Shrinky Dinks and then popped them in my oven. And so they made cute little charms on bulb pins. So we're going to go ahead and add some of those as well. But I'd like to get the cover done first. And before I get too heavily into it, I wanted to let you know that if you wanted to be a guest collaborator with Susan at I Totally Love It, you can go to her email, send her a message, let her know that you'd like to be one, and it's itotallyloveit@gmail.com, and then she can get you all set up to participate in her fun collaboration, which, in case I didn't mention it, is called Junk Journal Madness, and she uses the hashtag JJMadness. All right, as you can see, this front cover is pretty much done. I'll probably add some lace or something to it. I probably will cover the spine just to dress it up a little bit. But besides that, the front's not going to need much. But when we flip over to the back, you can see it's quite plain. So this is the part I think we're going to focus on today, and the sewn-in signature obviously is exposed, which not a big deal. Sometimes I leave mine exposed purposely. But for this one, since it's a little bit on the fancy side, I figured I'd go ahead and cover it. I have this, and I thought I would use this on the back, but I feel that we're going to put some fabric over top of this first. I grabbed some fabric. Let's take a look. All right. The first one is this one, which would work perfectly fine. I can tear it or cut it into size, use it on the back, and then even use a little piece, just kind of have it hang over this if I want to. Or I might just do that separate with like a piece of lace. I can also, instead of cutting it perfectly to size, I could cut it a little bit smaller so we can still see the dark blue edge. Haven't decided on that yet. Now, I also grabbed this, and this is a lot. It's over the top. But I wondered if we just took a second to play with it. I wondered if I lined this edge with it, that could be just pretty, just kind of pretty, right? And gosh, now that it's there, I'm thinking I kind of want to do that. I know that it's over the top. And it wouldn't be over the top for a full-size journal, but this is a little bit smaller, and so it is a little bit over the top, but I kind of like it. Let's see what happens. We're pretending this is on here, and then if I wanted to lay the journal on its back, I just want to see, yeah, that's laying pretty flat. I mean, not totally flat, because obviously it can't, but it's not bad. I do like the way that looks. I know it's very chunky right here, but it's kind of worth it. What do you guys think? If we did that, and then I put some lace here, sort of tied everything together. If I do that, then our image is going to actually have to kind of go underneath, and so it would be like you'd have to lift this up to see it. And I can use this as a tag inside. I don't have to use this on the outside of the journal. I wouldn't put it over top of the lace. You know, this is such a different idea. I'm thinking, let's go for it. Let's do something different and unique. This is already a pretty different and unique journal, just because it's in a CD case or DVD case. So I'm thinking, let's continue on with that. I'm going to grab my scissors. And you'll notice that I pulled it more to the center, and the reason being is this is much shorter than this here, and so I don't want the short for this. So I'm going beyond this thing because this is kind of chunky. So I'm going beyond that and then finishing right here. So that's where I'm going to cut it. If you didn't guess, this actually was from a Halloween costume. Actually, the quality's probably too good for that, so this was probably one of my daughter's dance costumes when she used to dance. That would be my guess. All right, now I'm gonna, so when I cut that, it's sort of straightened out. It's not as like frilly, which is okay with me. I can put the frills back in, but what I'm thinking, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it here so I can put the frills back in if I want to. And if not, I'll just have another scrap piece. But let's go ahead and take out this. This is the elastic. By taking that out, we have something much flatter to work with, and it won't be as bulky. So it'll, when it's flipped over, it will lay a little more flat, which I think is great. So here's our question then. Let me hold it like this so we can see everything. Do I pull it straight and do it like this, which of course does not look bad, or do I, sort of ruffle it up a little bit? And as pretty as the ruffling looks, the straight is not a bad idea since this is in fact the back cover. I think I like that. So it's still gorgeous, but it's a little more streamlined. So I'm gonna do that, you guys. Yep, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. This I cut pretty straight. I could tuck, let's see, could tuck that under like this, just to have it be kind of a nice clean line. Yeah, if I tuck under both sides, I think that is good. I don't know. I don't know if it matters. Oh, you know what I'll do? Hold on, I got it. So I'm gonna do that there. I'm gonna cut this here, and then I'll put like a piece of lace down the side to finish it off. But I'll put the lace on first. How does that sound? All right, so got it there, and then I'm gonna do it right. I'm gonna cut this one here. Okay. This one I can use in a different project. I can envision this going on a tag. Wouldn't that be gorgeous? All right. So we're gonna do this like this. So let's get our lace to sort of finish off the edges. All right, my friends, I put a little piece of acetate down. That's just to make sure that the glue doesn't stick to the paper, because then we'd have a big problem. Now I'm gonna take a piece of, or a strip of glue. Now you can use your hot glue, or you can use your Fabri-Tac, or you could slow stitch this lace into place. But I'm taking it and I'm gonna glue it, and then I'm gonna take my other piece of acetate and I'm gonna use that to press down a little bit, and then try to lift that up and press over here. There we go. And lift that up. And then it looks like it did a pretty good job. There's not a lot of stringy stuff, but if there is, once this dries, I'll go back in with my hot glue gun tip and just warm any areas that are standing up. All right, we got that done, so I'm gonna peel this off the back. And it's almost dry. It's not quite dry yet. Oh, I gotta get this off of there before it dries. That flipped over when I moved it. There we go, okay. I'm gonna press down with my finger now because it's not hot anymore. And just, there we go, nice and dry, okay. So So now we're going to do the same thing with the other side. Pretty easy. Oh, if I can find my lace. Oh, here it is. Okay. So I'm just measuring it out and I'm cutting it. And then I've got this side and don't want it to be too long. And then on the other side I had it sort of cut at a curve and I see, oh, hold on, do I have this right? Yeah, I do. All right, so I kind of like the curve that it's cut for this side here. So I'm going to leave that as is. I'm going to get our acetate back over here and do the same thing that I did before. Just lay this down just so the glue catches the lace. And one more time. Yeah, if you guys go shopping and you get stickers or anything with this stuff, save it. I use it for so many different things and it's great. All right. Now I'm going to leave that on there, let that finish drying. I'm just taking a look at this. So, and it looks pretty darn good, but I'm cleaning the tip of my hot glue gun. And then I'm just going to go back in, and I'm not pushing the handle down. I'm not making any more glue come out. I'm just going over it, just because if any of it's sticking up, this will sort of melt it down into place and it'll look nicer. There we go. I think this side is pretty good, but I'm going to just check it, just make sure. Yeah, like I said, I'm not pushing down on the handle, not making any glue come out, just making sure it looks okay. Now we're going to peel that off of there. There we go. And that is now ready to be put on the back of the book. Whoops, there we go. Get these out of the way. Now we're going to come back over here to the book, or journal. Before I glue this on, and I know that this is going to be covered and so I don't really have to worry about it, but there's a little, like a slight tear and it's white, so I'm just going to dab it with my pen. I'd rather it be blue than white. Okay. Again, it's getting glued over, but still. All right, here we go. So there's going to be enough room on here to ruffle this a little bit, but not too much. So I'm going to, because of that, I'm going to start in the center, and I'm just going to do a couple inch strip right here on the edge. Okay. Yeah, and just scrunch it together just a hair, not too much, but also pushing down on it. There we go. And the rest of it, I think I can just adhere without really having to scrunch it up too much. A little bit of scrunching. There we go. Looking good. All right, now this part of it. All right, so I like that so far. I'm thinking of tacking down the edges actually, so they're not flapping around all over the place. There we go. I wonder if I should tack down any in the center. It might make it look a little more uniform and organized if I do, like right here where there's this pleat. Maybe I just put a little tiny spot there and just tack that down. Let me see here. Yeah, I'll do it like that. Okay, I think I like that. I'm going to do another one. Actually, let me do this end first. I'm probably out of frame. My apologies. Scoot back up. Get this glued on here. Very nice. Make sure that's dry. Okay. And then I want to put another little spot of glue right here. All right, my friends, as I was going through my goodies, I found this, which I think is super pretty. It might be too small to use on anything, but I kept it out. I also found this, and it's a pretty small piece of trim. It's the last one I have, but look, it fits perfect in this journal. So I'm going to use this somewhere, not on here. I was just showing it to you, but check this out. Look how gorgeous this is. I have 2 pieces of this particular scrap. And I think I'd like to use this on both of the spines. I think it's stunning. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I hope this works out for us. I'm just gonna put our bead of glue right down the center there. Get this up here real quick. And press that down into place. And then once it's dry, I'll trim the ends, but I'm just gonna leave the ends for now. Okay, and now let me get to the other spine, which is right here on the other side. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. Let me make sure I have enough. I do. Just barely, but I do. Perfect. So we're going to go ahead. A nice big bead of glue. Again, you could use your Fabri-Tac or 3-in-1 to do this. You don't have to use hot glue. Okay. Now I'm going to just hold this and sort of push on both of these at the same time. Make sure there's some good adhesion there. Man, does that look at it. Look how pretty that looks. That is gorgeous. Oh man. Super pretty. I love it. I'm so glad I found that. And it was in my glass jar. It's like I see it every day, but sometimes you see things but you don't see them, you know what I mean? All right, now we're going to go ahead and we're just going to cut the end off. Hopefully it's dry and there's enough adhesion there. There we go. Same on this side. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to do the other one. And that actually eliminates this piece of trim from my stash. This is all I had of that. There we go, and I do like using up my scraps. All right, there's that. All right, my friends, so here is this here. And so just to make this clean and purposeful, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can put the tiniest bead of glue right down that edge and add this very fine trim here. Oh, you know, I could have gotten out my mini glue gun. I didn't even think about that. Here we go. Okay, if I can press this down in time. I think it just finishes it off. I think it's a very nice detail and just a nice finishing touch. I'm really sort of into the finishing touches and details of things. Now, it's not to say I don't miss opportunities sometimes, but I definitely do look for them. Okay, now I wanted to find a page to put this on because I think it'll be, oh gosh, could I do it here? Oh, you guys, I could. I could do it right here on the outside. Oh man, that's so stinking cute. It's a tiny bit short, like tiny bit short. So what I could do is put a little something up here in the corner so that you wouldn't know that it was a little bit short. I'm going for it, guys. I'm going for it. That's going to be super cute. Getting all these wonderful finishing touches. I love it. And I won't go all the way up to the top because I do know it's a little shy up there. Okay, here we go. Let's get this on here quick. All right, that's looking so cute. So cute. I like that. Hi friends. So I wanted to get some charms out so we can put some charms on the wax thread. right where we tied in the signatures, and I've got 3 pumpkins, white, blue, and pink, and then I have a crown, and I have a couple of crowns, so I'm going to pull all of these out in case we find places that we want to use them. And I think that's a good place to start with our little goodies. I guess I could add a key if I find a spot for a key. Yep, all right, let's start with that. Since this journal is a little smaller than what I usually make, I'm going to not add like a bunch of beads and stuff. I'm just going to add the charm. So we're going to do a pumpkin. Let's do a blue pumpkin down here at this signature, and then at the other one we'll do one of the crowns, and then we'll use ball pins and we'll put some on the lacy parts of the journal. I just had an idea actually to hold this pumpkin into place. I'm gonna do, I did one knot, right, to keep it from coming down, but now I think I'll do another knot to keep it from going up into the middle of the journal. You know, sometimes these little charms trick us and they do that. Let me make sure. Oh yeah, there's plenty of space for me to do that. So let me tie that, and then I'm going to take these and I'll just tie a couple of knots, and that'll be very secure. This will be available in my Etsy shop if you want it, and if you didn't want a charm at the bottom, you just easily snip that right off of there, you know, no problem. All right, let's do the same thing over here in the center of this signature. Let's go ahead, we could do the key or one of the crowns. We'll do the big crown. I don't know, I feel like I should do the key. You know what, let's combine it. Let's do a key and a crown. How does that sound? If I can get this through, there we go. And if I can get it through this one, that's easy, that one was bigger. Now I'd like to, if I can, I've been tying both of the wax threads together with the charms lately. Not any particular reason, I just think it sort of finishes it off nicely instead of having one of the wax threads hanging around, or sometimes, you know, I'll do charms on both of them. So again, not any particular purpose except for aesthetics. All right, measure that properly here. Go around like this. See if I can keep those threads together. I'm trying to hold the charms in one hand and do the tying with the other hand. There we go. I think we got it. Okay. And now I'll just tie these just like I did before. There. All right, we have our charms on. And now, my friends, I think I'll find a couple of spots for some embellishments and cuteness. But I don't think I want to do that on camera, because to do that I sort of have to flip through the journal, and I'm saving that for the final video, which will be next week. So video number 4 of this series is going to be the flip through of this princess journal. But before we go, let me let you have a look at what we did today. So we worked on the cover. You can see we added our pom-poms. I will add an embellishment up here, I just have to find one. We added this gorgeous sequin spine along with these 2 charms down here. Hopefully you can see. We added this to the back, which looks fantastic and just luxurious. Then here's the other spine, looks just like the other one. And then here's the little pumpkin charm. So that's what we did today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I always enjoy it. And now I'm just going to gather these together and look for a little something that I can put right up here. But I'm going to make that decision and then share it with you in the next video so you have something to look forward to seeing. All right, my friends, thanks for watching. See you soon.